Good morning and welcome to another tutorial video with Cosmos Crochet Corner. We're working on Bella the Bunny at the moment, and today I am going to show you how to needle sculpt the face. The point of needle sculpting is to create eye sockets over here so that the eyes aren't quite so straight. We literally want to push them in a little bit so that it looks a bit more natural. Now for that you're going to need to mark 6 points on your face. The first point is at the bottom of the muzzle here. This would be point number 1. Here to the left of the right eye you've got point number 2, and to the right you've got point number 3. Now these points are directly next to the safety eye, actually touching them. Then we go back down. Point number 4 is the one on the left hand side, and then we've got point number 5 and point number 6 by the left eye. Now we're going to be working large invisible stitches between these 6 points to help pull the eyes in like that. Now to do this you're going to need a large needle. I use an upholstery needle. As you can see, it is very big. This is my medium-sized needle. You need one that's big enough to go directly between the points that you are working through. They aren't very expensive. If you can find them, they're quite cheap. You'll also need a length of the dark yarn that you are using, your main color, already on the needle. You can see I've put quite a long piece on. I'd rather have a bit too much yarn than not enough yarn for this process. Now it's a bit difficult to work while the pins are in, so as I insert the needle I'm going to take each pin out, but I'll remind you that it's point 2, point 3, point 4, point 4, point 5 and point 6 that we are working on. So we're going to start by point 1, where we are going to insert our needle, and we want our needle to come out here by point 2. So I'm going to take out the point 2 pin so that we've got room. Now you may need to bend and maneuver a little bit, but it is important to make sure your needle comes out at exactly the right spot. As you can see, that's too high. We want to go down there, so we pull back. Now we still want too high, so we pull back a little bit. That's one too low, and there we go. That is exactly where we want it at point 2. We now push our needle through and we pull our yarn through, but we don't want to pull the yarn through all the way. Here by point 1 you want to leave a tail hanging out, and you want to make sure through the whole process that this tail keeps hanging out. Now next we're going to go in by point 3, and we're going to come back out again at the same spot, point 1, where we originally entered. So I'm going to take the pin out. I'm going to enter my needle by point 3, and then I'm going to exit down here by point 1. So in by point 3, out by point 1, pull the needle through. Now these needles are sharper, so you can actually hurt yourself with them. Be careful. While we're pulling the yarn, you'll see our loop is getting smaller over here. Once it gets to this point, you don't want the loop to be over the eye the way it is here. You want it to actually fall just under the eye like that. So you're just going to use your nail to move it down. You're going to grab both ends here and you're going to pull on them. This is what we call pulling tight. Now as you pull tight you'll see that it actually sinks into the head like that, which is exactly what we want. So we've now done the first time for the right eye. We're now going to do the left eye. Now we've exited at point 1. We want to enter here where point 4 is. It's just one stitch to the left of point 1. So we're just going one stitch left right here where the muzzle joins the head, and we want to come out here by point 5. So we're taking that out, and there we go. You can see coming out at point 5, entering at point 4. So we pull through, Remember to hang on to your short end so that you don't accidentally pull your short end in. We are now going to go in by 0.6 and back out by 0.4 where we had just entered. So in by 0.6 and at the bottom go, out by 0.4, in by 0.6, pull through. As we pull through, you'll see again, same as on the last eye, we get this line. We want to move it below the eye and we want to pull tight, just like we did on the left hand side. Now you'll see both eyes have sunk in a little bit to create an eye socket. I like to emphasize the socket a little bit more, so I'm going to repeat this route that we've just done by entering at 0.1. Let's just push that to the side, there we go. Exiting at 0.2. Entering again at 0.3, exiting back down by 0.1, move a loop down, and again pull tight. You'll see with the second going, it pulls in more deeply than with the first time. See how nice and deep that socket is now, as opposed to this one that we've only done once. We're now going to repeat again for this eye as well, because you want to make sure that you keep your eye sockets the same depth and your eyes the same height. So you will repeat whichever route you need to repeat, however many times you need to repeat it in order to get an even result. So we're in by 0.4 and out by 0.5. And then we go in by 0.6 and again down to the bottom, out by 0.4. And then we again just move it down. Sometimes the yarn end's a little bit stubborn, then I use my needle to just push it to the bottom of the eye, and we pull tight. So push on the eyes a little bit to make sure that I've got exactly the result that I want. So there we go. In height, they are now even. If we look at the depth of the sockets, that is also even. So we are now basically happy with the result we have created. So it's time to tie off. If you want a deeper socket, you can just repeat the process again. If you've got the left eye slightly higher than the right eye, you repeat only the left eye. If it's the other way around, you repeat only that side. You want to make sure the height stays the same and the depth stays the same. Now if you're going to finish off at this point as I am, you just go in by 0.4 and make sure that you come out again by 0.1 where you originally started. Whenever you finish off, you want to come out at the same point where you started. And out. Sometimes when it gets difficult to pull your needle through, I take a little, I'm not sure what you call this, tongs. Just grab it and use that to pull the needle through. Sometimes you'll find that your needle sticks a bit, and that is just a good way to get a grip on it. You're then going to knot this together. So I'll cut our yarn a bit shorter. Going to make a knot with the two ends. Cut the yarn off short, and then you're just going to stick that knot into the body that you have been working to hide the fact that it exists. Most of our ends we will hide inside the body in this way. I'm just using the back of my big needle to help me stuff that in. And there we go. We have now created nice eye sockets for Bella the bunny, and we are done with our facial sculpting.